Welcome to the deep dive. We're not about just scratching the surface here.
Nope.
We dig in to find those powerful insights, the stuff that can actually, drive real change in your life, in your work.
Absolutely. If you're looking to level up, to really transform things, this is where we unpack the ideas that can help you do that.
Right. Our whole mission is to unlock the power packed into the resources you bring us, finding those key ideas that fuel success. We want to help turn those pages into power.
And today, we're diving into something really interesting. It's The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, audiobook, comprehensive summary, read through. It's from the Productivity Pulse channel.
Okay, Mel Robbins, Let Them Theory. Sounds intriguing. So what's the core idea we're unpacking?
Well, it's really about taking back control of your own life, but the way you do it is maybe a bit counterintuitive.
How so?
It involves letting go, specifically letting go of that constant need we feel to control other people.
Ah, okay. So the transcript gets into this let them theory.
Exactly. And the fundamental point Robbins makes is just how much energy we pour into trying to manage things we actually can't manage. Other people's thoughts, their feelings, how they act.
That sounds exhausting just thinking about it. And it seems like Robbins speaks from experience here.
Oh, definitely. She talks very openly about her own struggles with needing approval, constantly trying to please everyone, thinking that was the path to, her own happiness.
Which is so relatable, isn't it? That feeling you have to manage everyone else's emotional world, your family, friends, even coworkers.
It's incredibly common. And Robbins really emphasizes the cost. It's draining.
Yeah, the transcript mentions the emotional and even physical toll. You end up feeling depleted, anxious, completely overwhelmed.
Right. Trying to manage everyone else's stuff just leaves you with nothing left for yourself.
Like trying to herd cats, basically.
Exactly. And she uses her own life as an example, trying to control her marriage or family situation. She hit a point where she realized her efforts were actually, making things worse, causing more friction.
Wow. And that led her to question if sacrificing her own happiness was even working, let alone worth it.
Mm-hmm. And here's where it gets really insightful. This urge to control. It often comes from this deep-seated, maybe unconscious belief.
What kind of belief?
That our own self-worth is somehow tangled up in our ability to manage or orchestrate how everyone around us feels and acts.
Oof. That hits home. So the let them theory is a direct challenge to that. What's the core principle then?
It's pretty simple, really, but powerful. Let them be who they are. Let them think what they want to think, feel what they feel, do what they do.
Just let them?
Yeah. Let go of that need to constantly manage or worry about their actions and opinions.
I can almost feel the weight lifting just hearing that. Imagine the mental energy you'd get back.
Yeah. And it's important to note, the transcript clarifies this isn't about ditching relationships or ignoring responsibilities.
Right. It's not about becoming uncaring.
No. It's about not carrying the burden of their emotional states or feeling like you have to manage how they appear to the world.
And that energy you save, it gets redirected.
Precisely. Back to you, your own feelings, your own responses. That's where your focus shifts.
Okay, so conceptually, it makes sense, but how do you actually start doing this? What are the practical steps to adopt this let them mindset?
Well, the first big step highlighted is awareness. Just recognizing that you can't control everything and that trying to is actually stopping you from, living your own life fully.
Recognizing the futility of it.
Yes. Robbins talks about feeling so much lighter when she stopped trying to shape everyone else.
I bet. So awareness first, then what?
Then there's this practical tool, the let them mental mantra.
A mantra?
Yeah. So when you're in a situation, maybe with someone difficult, and you feel that anxiety or frustration building, that urge to jump in and fix it, you just silently repeat to yourself, let them.
Let them. Okay.
Yeah.
Like a little reminder to step back.
Exactly. It interrupts that impulse to manage their emotions or actions. It helps you disengage from their stuff and refocus on your stuff.
Your own response.
Your own response. That's what you actually can control.
It sounds simple, but I imagine it takes practice. The transcript connects this to some deeper principles too, right? It's not just a quick fix.
Oh, definitely not. It ties the let them theory into research on stress and well-being. How constantly trying to control external things leads to chronic anxiety, burnout.
That makes sense. It's like you're always bracing for impact.
Right. And it also touches on the locus of control idea, internal versus external.
Ah, yes. Where you feel your power comes from.
Exactly. And embracing let them helps you cultivate a stronger internal locus of control. You stop looking outside for validation or trying to force things, and instead, you focus on how you choose to react.
Which feels much more empowering, I'd imagine. Less emotional strain.
Definitely. And the transcript gives some good real-life examples, like the friend who's always late.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading that part. We all have one of those, right?
Probably. So instead of constantly trying to change the friend, getting upset, Robbins basically decided to let her
be late.
Yeah. Adjust her own expectations, accept it, and not let it ruin her own mood. Make peace with it.
That's a great example. So the big takeaway is we just waste so much energy trying to control stuff that's fundamentally out of our hands.
Spot on. And let them is about reclaiming that energy, choosing where you invest it. Real freedom comes from releasing control over the unchangeable.
Okay, but then the transcript introduces another piece. Let me. How does that fit in? It sounds like the other side of the coin.
It absolutely is. They're presented as complementary principles. Let them is about stepping back from trying to control others. And let me is about taking full ownership of your own emotional reactions.
Got it. So let them frees you from managing others, and let me focuses you on managing yourself.
Precisely. It's about reclaiming power over your own internal world, your thoughts, feelings, responses. The theory isn't just about detachment. It's deeply about self-awareness and personal accountability for how you react.
This let me part feels like where the really deep personal work happens.
I think so too. The transcript really digs into recognizing that, look, we all want control, it's human nature, but we just don't have it over other people's actions or thoughts or feelings.
No matter how much we wish we did sometimes.
Right. And there's another example, given maybe you disagree with a friend's choices. The instinct might be to jump in, guide them, fix it.
Yeah, tell them what they should do.
Exactly. But let me suggests a different path. Acknowledge they have their reasons, and it's not your job to impose your view. Instead, let me puts the focus on your reaction. How are you going to handle your disagreement or concern?
That's a huge shift, because trying to control them often leads to frustration, feeling like a victim when they don't listen.
Right. Whereas let me puts you back in charge of yourself. Your response is your domain.
And a big part of this let me, according to the transcript, is letting go of judgment.
Yes, a huge part. We judge others' actions, often thinking they're wrong or misguided. But that judgment, Robbins suggests, often comes from our own stuff, our insecurities, our fears.
Like we judge their choices because we're worried about how it reflects on us. Or maybe it just makes us uncomfortable.
Exactly. So consciously choosing to stop judging them frees up so much emotional energy. You stop taking their behavior personally. There's this example of Robbins feeling excluded by friends' social media posts.
Oh yeah, that feeling.
Right. But instead of stewing or judging, she chose to just notice her feelings. Acknowledge the sting, but without adding a layer of judgment onto them or herself.
So let me allows for this kind of non-judgmental awareness, just observing, without getting tangled up in it emotionally.
Beautifully put. And like, let them. There's science behind let me. Trying to control others leads to what psychologists call ego depletion. It literally drains your mental resources.
Like running too many programs on your computer.
Exactly. It contributes to burnout, anxiety. But let me, by focusing on your own reactions, reduces that mental drain. It aligns with self-determination theory, focusing on your own values and motivations boosts well-being.
Okay, this is powerful stuff. So how do we start putting both let them and let me into practice day to day? What are some small steps?
The transcript suggests starting small with let them. Someone cuts you off in traffic instead of laying on the horn.
Deep breath and mentally say let them.
Exactly. Let it go.
Yeah.
Low stakes practice. Another idea is unself-reaction.
Unself-reaction.
Yeah. After you have a strong emotional reaction, take a moment later to reflect. How could I have responded differently? Was my reaction about the situation or about my need to control?
Analyzing your own patterns.
Right. And then there's practicing non-judgment. Observe someone's behavior you don't like. Try not to label it good or bad immediately. Just accept it is what it is, then choose your response based on your values.
It sounds like these two ideas, let them and let me, really work together.
That's the key. The real power comes when they're combined. Let them gives you peace and energy back from trying to control the uncontrollable. And let me empowers you to own your responses, to be in charge of your inner world. It's about taking back your power, really.
The transcript doesn't shy away from the reality of stress, though. It basically says, yep, life is stressful.
Yeah, it's refreshingly direct. Shocker. Life is stressful. But the point is, While some stress is unavoidable, a lot of it is self-inflicted.
How so?
By constantly fighting reality, trying to control things we can't, especially other people, the let them theory is framed as a way to manage that inevitable stress more effectively.
So much of our stress comes from that gap between our expectations and reality.
Precisely. We expect people to act a certain way or life to go according to plan. And when it doesn't, which it often won't, because life's unpredictable, we get stressed.
Like the traffic jam example again. You can't control the jam.
Nope. But you can control whether you spend that time fuming or, I don't know, listening to a deep dive like this one.
Nice plug. But yeah, the point is, trying to micromanage the uncontrollable actually increases stress. It's our emotional reaction to feeling powerless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So accepting you can't control everything, that's a surprisingly powerful stress reliever.
And this idea of emotional detachment comes up again here, not being cold, but...
Not letting other people's moods or actions dictate yours. Your colleague is having a bad day and snaps. You can acknowledge it without letting it ruin your whole day. Let them have their reaction. You choose yours.
Right. And releasing those rigid expectations is key too. When reality doesn't match our shoulds, stress flares up.
Let them. Helps you loosen that grip on how things should be and accept how they are. It naturally lowers the stress temperature.
So applying let them in a stressful moment is like reframing it. Instead of a problem to fix, it's a chance to practice letting go.
That's a great way to put it, that frustrating family member. Instead of the usual pattern, you think, okay, let them. This doesn't have to control my feelings. You shift your focus back to what you can control.
Your mindset, your actions, your response.
Yep. Taking responsibility for your reactions through let them gives you back that sense of control, ironically, and lessens the stress impact.
And there are deeper reasons this works psychologically.
Yeah, the transcript touches on acceptance being crucial. Fighting reality just ramps up stress. Think Stoicism, Buddhism, ancient wisdom about accepting what you can't change.
It's about not wasting energy on unwinnable fights.
Exactly. And neuroscience comes into play too. Feeling out of control can trigger the brain's fight or flight response, activating the amygdala.
The stress center.
Right. Practicing let them can help calm that response, allowing for a more measured reaction. Mindfulness techniques, deep breathing, they help reset that stress response too.
The transcript mentions some specific tools, like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method.
Yeah, the grounding technique. Naming 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, etc. It breaks the stress spiral, pulls you back to the present, back to what you can control your attention.
Useful. And journaling too.
Yes. Writing things down, even literally writing let them about a situation, can be really cathartic. Plus gratitude, deep breathing, all tools that support this mindset.
So wrapping up the stress aspect, it's unavoidable, but our response is everything.
That's the core message. Let them stops you wasting energy on the uncontrollable, freeing you up to manage your own inner state. It's a lifeline if you feel crushed by the pressure to manage everything.
It really feels like a path to reclaiming power and peace.
Absolutely. Applying let them and let me consistently can genuinely reduce stress and increase your sense of agency.
Okay, so as we finish this deep dive on the let them theory, let's distill the key takeaways for someone listening who's really focused on growth, on leveling up.
Well, the big benefits are pretty clear, I think. First, less stress that comes from letting go of trying to control everyone else. Second, more personal power because you're focusing on your own responses. Third, likely improved relationships because you're bringing more acceptance and setting healthier boundaries. And finally, just a clearer focus on what actually matters for your own well-being and growth.
It really comes down to understanding where your control begins and ends, doesn't it? And putting your energy there.
Spot on. Real power isn't about forcing things. It's about navigating life with wisdom and emotional resilience.
So here's something for you, our listener, to chew on. Think about one area in your life right now where you're pouring energy into trying to control someone else or maybe an external situation. What would happen if you applied let them and then focused on your let me, your own response? How might that shift things? Maybe try experimenting with it this week.
It's a powerful shift to consider. It can really change how you experience things, how you interact with people. A small change with potentially big results.
Absolutely. Unlock the power of every page with us right here on the Deep Dive. If you're hungry for these kinds of insights that really fuel growth, make sure you hit subscribe. That way you won't miss any of our deep dives into the ideas transforming lives and businesses.
Yeah, definitely subscribe.
And we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What was your biggest takeaway from this look at the let them theory?
We genuinely want to know what resonates.
And if you know someone else who's ready to level up, who wants to turn pages into power, please share this deep dive with them.
Spread the knowledge.
Let's keep diving deep.